What's up, good people? It's your girl Shantavia, and welcome back to Shantavia Speaks, where we heal, grow, and evolve together. This is the root cause series where we stop treating symptoms and start healing what created them. Because the behavior isn't the problem, the wound beneath it is. So today we're talking about people pleasing, and I want to challenge the way you've probably been thinking about it. Because I don't believe people pleasing is just about being nice. I don't believe it's just about having a big heart. I believe people pleasing is a survival strategy that I also implemented in my own life. And until you understand what it's been protecting you from, you'll continue to try to fix the behavior instead of healing the wound. I used to think I was just a nice person, that I was easygoing. I thought I just liked keeping the peace. But looking back now, I wasn't keeping the peace. I was avoiding pain. There's a difference. See, people don't wake up one morning and decide I'm going to spend the rest of my life making everybody else happy and neglecting my own needs. No. Somewhere along the way, they learned that speaking up wasn't safe. They learned that disappointing people came with consequences. They learned that saying no might cost them love, might cost them acceptance, or peace. So they adapted, which is exactly what I did. Growing up, I didn't have a voice. I grew up making sure everything was done the way it was supposed to be done because I didn't want to get fussed at. I didn't like how criticism made me feel. I didn't like hearing hurtful words. I didn't like feeling like I had done something wrong. So instead of speaking up, I learned to walk on eggshells. So people pleasing isn't always about making other people happy. Sometimes it's about trying to keep yourself emotionally safe. Maybe, you learned that if you made one mistake, somebody would criticize you. Maybe you learned that your feelings didn't matter. Maybe you learned that adults got to have emotions, but children didn't. Maybe you learned that speaking up, was seen as disrespectful. So you became quiet. Not because you didn't have anything to say, but because your nervous system learned that silence felt safer than honesty. However, children do grow up, and the survival strategy comes with them. That's why some of you struggle to say no. That's why you over explain everything. That's why you apologize for things that aren't even your fault. That's why you replay conversations in your head over and over, wondering if somebody is upset with you. That's why you lose sleep because someone might be mad at you. Yo, that was me too. I used to do every single one of those things. If someone asked me a question, I felt like I had to defend myself. I literally lived in fight or flight. If I said no, I felt guilty. If somebody was upset with me, it ruined my peace. It turned my whole day upside down. Because somewhere deep down, I believe that if people weren't happy with me, then something was wrong with me. And that's a heavy way to live. And I carried that as a child into my adulthood. I carried that into, my relationships. I carried that into my friendships. Even in my engagement, I still didn't have a voice. I would say yes when I truly wanted to say no. I would stay quiet when something was hurting me. I would over explain myself. I would make myself smaller just to keep the relationship comfortable. Until one day, therapy held up a mirror. And for the first time, I realized, I didn't have a voice. I was like, whoa, yo, where is your voice? Right before my engagement ended, I remember standing in the shower one night crying, and I was praying, and I said, God, if this relationship isn't for me, remove it. And I want you to remove it in a way that I can't come back. And he answered that prayer. But here's the thing. The relationship didn't end just because I prayed. The relationship ended because I started changing. I wanted change because it all starts with us, right? See, therapy helped me find my voice. I started speaking up. I started saying what I felt. I started setting boundaries. I started realizing that my feelings, my emotions, my needs, they matter too. And when I found my voice, my relationship ended because I was no longer in alignment with that. I had changed. That wasn't easy. There were moments when I questioned myself. There were moments when I wondered if I had made the right decision. There were moments when I felt guilty because that's what happens when you spent your whole life making everyone else comfortable. At first, you do question yourself. And let me be clear, the moment you do choose yourself, some people will not know what to do with the new you. Healthy relationships can survive honest conversations. Healthy people may not agree with every boundary you set, but they can respect it. The people who benefit the most from your silence are often the ones most threatened when you find your voice. That truth changed my life. Healing didn't make me mean. Healing didn't make me cold. Healing didn't make me stop loving people. Healing taught me that I could be kind without abandoning myself. So today, people tell me, they think I'm confident. They tell me I have a presence. They tell me I have an alluring aura, that I'm mysterious, that, they're drawn to my energy. The difference isn't that people like me more. The difference is I no longer need them to. My peace is no longer dependent on somebody else's approval. My value is no longer determined by whether somebody is happy with me or not. Because healing taught me something that people pleasing never could. I don't have to earn my worth because I already have it. And it's the same for you. So if you're listening to me today, you struggle with saying no, you over-explain everything. You apologize for existing. You lose sleep because someone might be upset with you. I don't want you to leave this video thinking that you're weak, because you're not. It's the complete opposite. I want you to ask yourself one question. What has my people-pleasing been protecting me from? And be honest. I mean, down to the core. Because your people pleasing isn't the problem, it's the clue. So investigate it. It'll lead you to the wound that's asking to be healed. People pleasing wasn't my personality. It was the armor I wore when I didn't feel emotionally safe. I had to heal my inner child, because the armor that protects you as a child can become the cage that limits you as an adult. So it's time to put the armor down. People pleasing taught me how to keep relationships. Healing taught me how to keep myself. And remember, healing doesn't happen by accident. It happens intentionally. So if this episode spoke to you, let me know in the comments. What is one survival strategy you're realizing that you no longer need? Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you want more encouragement throughout the week, join my free newsletter, Letters from Shantavia. The link is in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. And lastly, if you're listening on the podcast, be sure to follow the show. Leave a review and share this episode with someone who may need it. And family, I see you healing, and it looks so good on you. Until next time, much peace, love, and healing.